Good morning everyone, it's Wednesday morning, so it's time for our short workout getting you ready to run. So whether you're already a runner, you're thinking of taking it up, you're new to running, this is going to help you get the strength, the alignment that you need to help you run safely and effectively. I've got Sharon on. Good morning, Sharon. Right, so what you're going to need is a safe, clear working area, no trip hazard, and space to take your leg out to the front, to the side and to the back. You're also going to need something for support, so a sturdy chair, kitchen counter, something that's not too low or too high, about hip height that you can rely on, okay, if you're needing to hold on to it. So we're going to start, as we did on Monday, working through articulation of the feet. So you want to be doing this in bare feet or socks, okay? So forget your running shoes, bare feet or socks, so we can really get those feet moving. All right, so I'm going to stand with my heels underneath my hip bones and making sure that my feet are dead parallel. Okay, that's really, really important, so no turnout here. Check that they're parallel and your toes are level. We're going to stand tall, think of bringing that pelvis into neutral, and just check you haven't locked your kneecaps back. Okay, so if you have, just soften your kneecaps, pull up tall. We'll take the hands around the rib cage, shoulders relaxed, and you're going to breathe into your hands. Big breath in. Exhale through the mouth. So I'd like you to keep that breathing pattern going while I talk you through it. So hopefully you're feeling expansion going all the way around the rib cage. So a nice big 360 breath, coming down into the bottom of the lungs rather than up into the shoulders. You might feel like you're getting the breath going more into one side than the other. So that might be something that you need to work on and practice. Okay, so these are your big breaths for helping you get that oxygen going around the body, helping you prevent stitches and cramps. Okay, so we're going to try and keep that breath going. Bring the arms down, collarbones wide, shoulder blades wide. So let's start with an arm float. Lift from the little finger and back down. So if you lead from the thumb, you're going to get the tops of the shoulders working. We want to work under here. And down. Inhale as you lift. Exhale as you come back down. Just notice what's happening in your feet. Are you in the centre of your heel with the pressure? Is it even between the ball and the heel of the foot? So now we're going to start to lift the heel. Lift one heel, press forwards. Roll back down. Changing sides. And down. So just get that movement going and getting used to pressing into the middle toe and landing back into the centre of your heel. So that way we're going to keep really good alignment with the knees going over the toes. Okay, so just being aware in your body, feeling if you're starting to use your back. So if this bit's tightening up as you bend the knee, you're lifting your hip. Okay, we want those hips to stay level. Now because we're running, let's take those arms, keep them forwards. So let's add in a running arm. Opposite elbow comes back. And we're keeping those collarbones nice and wide. So just building on all the little things that we need to add together to get that really good movement pattern. One more each foot. So really, really lifting that heel. Get a good bend in those toes for me. Now we're going to take the hands back onto the hips here. We're going to go over the foot. So it's not about pressing down into the big toe. This is about pushing the heel forwards and getting some strength into the arches. So we're going to peel up. Come all the way up onto the big toe. Now push your heel forward so that your arch contracts. And roll back down. So articulating up and over that big toe. Big toe is really, really important for running. The big toe is what you push off to take your next step. So articulation of that and good movement pattern, really, really important. Peeling up onto the big toe, push forwards and roll back down. Now if you do suffer with plantar fasciitis, and you'll know it if you've got it, if you're thinking, I don't know what that is, really painful heels caused by tension in the feet, this might not be the best exercise for you to do if your arches are already really tight. So focus more on getting the stretch. So can you feel how your shins are stretching and the top of your foot as well when you do this move? So great for preventing shin splints. So one more each foot. And back down. Last one. And down. Okay, coming back to what you're using for support now, but we're going to stand with feet together. So I said we're going to start working on that inner thigh as well. So I'd like you to squeeze the inside of your knees together as you exhale. Can you feel that inner thigh switch on? Okay, so we're going to take one leg forwards and take a little lift. Now, without the pelvis moving, can you cross that leg over and just tap and bring it back? So we're drawing a little quarter circle and back. So I want you to squeeze from that inner thigh, squeeze that leg across. Exhale. Staying really tall and pulled up on this other hip. So we're working for stability on that side. One more. And take it back in. Let's do the other leg. Stretch out, pull up tall, lift, now squeeze across. So this should feel like your body is staying completely still. There's just the leg moving. Squeezing across, and you're stretching that leg out away from you to get better engagement of the muscles. Squeezing across. And one more. And back in. Okay, from there, stepping back to hip distance, we're going to come into some lunges now. So, step one leg back, make sure you've still got your toes pointing forwards and your hips are square, okay? People do have a tendency to turn that back leg out. That's going to make your knee do funny things. We want to be thinking of running movement pattern here. So heel to the ceiling, knee to the floor. Okay, and I'm going to get you to hinge forwards ever so slightly. Very light support on that, whatever you're using, chair, kitchen counter. You're going to come down into your lunge and think of lowering this glute towards your heel and push back up. Now you might be able to do it without, but what I'd like you to focus on is that both hips are lowering evenly and you're not leaving this hip behind. Okay, so hips lower evenly so that you can feel this hamstring switch on. One more. And up. Okay, changing legs. So we've got that tall spine, knee to the floor, heel to the ceiling, little hinge forwards, and anchor through that front foot, press down and push back up. So if you need to, you can take your hands onto your hips for this. So we want to make sure both knees are going forwards in line with your hips. And one last one, and pushing up. Okay, turning to face and taking both hands on, standing hip distance, and we're just going to step back a little so that you can still comfortably reach. You're not having to bend forwards, shoulders wide. We're going to come into a little squat now, so knees over toes and push back up. Now make sure keeping the whole of the foot on the floor as you do this. Try not to lift your toes. Two more. And one last one. Now straight into rises. So you're going to come up onto the toes, roll back down. Try not to press on your support and feel that you're lifting up rather than rocking forwards. So if you're lifting up, that's calf strength. If you're rocking forwards, well, you're just rocking forwards. So thinking about pressing down into the middle toe and the second toe. And one last one. Okay, now we're going to alternate those. So you're coming into your squat, straight back up, land in the middle of your heel, into that squat, knees over toes, up and down. Squat and rise and lower. Now, can you do it without your hands on? Take your hands across your chest, rise and lower. Into that squat. If you need to take your hands back on for now, please do. Up and down. So with control. Last one, we're going to stay on that rise. So stay on that rise for me. Take your hands back onto your support. We're going into foot pedals. So this is where I want you to really focus on your hips. Are they doing a bit of a salsa side to side? Try and think up and down a Smarty tube. Okay, we're going to use that pelvic stability. One more each leg, back to that rise. Give me a little balance. And roll back down. Okay, into a calf stretch. So let's step it back, ease that heel down. Keep the chest lifted, big long breaths. And stepping in, changing sides, press it back. And again, you want to keep that alignment. Parallel feet, toes pointing forwards, heel pointing away from you. And back in. Right, we're going to turn this way. I'm going to do a bit of work for the hips now. So I'm going to get you to actually turn into what we call first position, heels together here. And we're just going to take the arm out to the side. We're going to hold it there. So let's work a little bit on upper body strength as well. So try not to let your elbows droop. Think of lifting that elbow. Okay, we're going to stretch the leg to the front and bring it back in. So you're trying to keep that turn out and feel that lovely wrap and work into the hips. Stretch and back in. Two more. Now we're going to go out to the side. Stretch, really try and lift your heel away from the floor. Keep pulled up tall so your supporting side is working as well. Last one. Now to the back. Try and keep that turn out and keep your hips square to the front. So this is going to get your glutes working. One more. Now coming back in, turn back to parallel. Okay, we're going to do the same but in parallel with a lift. So we're going forwards, pull up tall, stretch that leg away from you as you lift it and back down. Stretch, lift and down. So again, try not to rely on your support because I know this leg is the one that's moving, but we're actually working for stability on the side that you stood on. Pulling up tall and and in. Last one. Now, taking it to the side, take the leg out, and you're going to take it ever so slightly back. Flex the foot, push the heel up and away from you, bring it down. Push and down. Really try and make that movement come from your glutes rather than your lower back. So exhale as you push, then you can draw your abdominals in, you're getting a bit of core work, and we're not arching the back. Last one. And bring it in. Okay, is this hip feeling it yet? One last set. We're going to the back. Okay, now, really important, draw those abdominals in, lift, and down. I'm flexing the foot here, pushing the heel away, because I want to create length and strength in the back of the leg. 2 more. Last one. And in. Okay, let's take it across. Sit into your hip stretch. Apply some pressure to that thigh if you need to, just to deepen it. And pushing up. Let's go to the other side. So I'm seeing lots of comments popping up. Hello everyone. Gosh, lots of people watching this morning. I hope you're doing it as well. Right, into first position. Squeeze those hips together. Let's take the arm out to the side. Remember, don't drop the elbow. Elbow lifted, and then we're going to get nice strong toned shoulders as well. So we're going to the front and in. So we're going to stretch forwards, keeping that really strong turnout. So that's coming from inside the hip. Stretch and in, out to the side. Now don't lose that turnout, so you want your knee on top and your heel underneath. Squeeze that hip. Pulling up on your supporting side. 2 more. Last one. Now we're going to the back. Exhale and in. Keeping those hips square, so it might be tempting to let that hip go with you. Try not to let it. 2 more. Okay, back to parallel position. Right, with the lift. So let's go forwards. Now pull up tall, lift and stretch that leg away from you. Bring it back in. Stretch, lift. And in. So try not to throw the leg and use momentum. Doesn't matter if it's not getting very high. So this is quad strength. It'll build up. Remember, keep that elbow lifted. Anybody's elbow starting to sag? 1 more. Okay, going out to the side. Hand onto the hip if you need to. Now take it slightly back. Lift the toes, flex that foot, push, bring it back down, push. So remember, we're not using the lower back for this. Fire up those glutes. One more, and in. Okay, going straight back. Push. Flex the foot, lift, and down, push, and down. So it should feel different, parallel and turned out. Keeping those hips square to the front. Exhale so that you're drawing the abdominals in. We're not overarching the back. 1 last one, and in. Okay, crossing over for your hip stretch. Keep the spine tall, keep those long breaths flowing through the body. Apply that pressure if you need to. and coming up. Okay, into our single leg work. So this is where you might want to start challenging yourself with how much you're relying on that support. Okay, so you need to again be kind of arm's length from your support. Bend one leg into your single leg calf raises. So think about where you're pressing middle and second toe. If you press over into your little toe, your ankle's going to collapse. Your knee will start to do funny things, and that's when we can injure ourselves. So can you do it without support? Not very well this morning for me. Did do a very tough class last night, and I'm feeling it just a bit today. Okay, now let's take that leg back, flex the foot, come into your single leg lunges. So I'm hinging slightly forwards, lifting this leg behind me. Now I want my knees to go right over my toes. So if they're not doing, your hips probably moving. Okay, so this is pelvic stability. And in. Let's change sides. So standing tall, pull up through the hip, spread the toes, and this is where you might start to get a sense of how shoes can affect how you're moving. So if your toes are jammed into quite narrow shoes and confined, how are the toes going to spread out and articulate when you need them to when you're running? So it's better to have a bit of width across the toes. One more. And taking that leg back, flex the foot, hinge forwards into your single leg lunge. So knees over the toes. Keep that leg active at the back. Just test yourself, how are you doing? And in. Okay, time for a little bit of stretching to finish with. So we've done a couple already, but we're going to go into hamstring stretch now. If you've got any spinal issues, you might want to just place your hands back on your support, push your hips back. But if you can, we're going to come down into a stretch here. So we're going to take the arms up. Bring them forwards, nod the chin, you're going to roll down, articulate through that spine, come towards the feet, bringing your chest towards your thighs. Now make sure you're pressing into your toes rather than into your heels. Press down through the ball of the foot and exhale to curl. Back up. Now we're going to do that in a funny position now. Toes together, turn your heels out. Coming up, forwards, nod the chin, curl down, and it should feel different. So really make sure those toes are in contact, and you should feel a stretch more up the outside of your hamstrings into the side of the glutes now. And coming back up. And stretch. And very well done, everyone. Thank you for joining me. So the next one is Monday morning at 8:30. Although there's going to be a little bit of a class Friday afternoon, about 2:30ish. I have to check. I've got some PT clients, but I will let you know. So it's not a runner's one, it's just a general Pilates, nice afternoon energizer. Okay, so take care everyone and safe running.